Hello. In this video, we're going to discuss about a function called as counter distinct. So we might have come across such need while working with Excel spreadsheets. So here is a simple example. Let's say there's a simple data where you have different sessions, morning, afternoon, night, and there are different students who are purchasing something in these sessions. Right? If somebody wants to understand how many unique students are coming in each session and purchasing something, so they will obviously have to find the counter distinct of these students. There is an Excel inbuilt function that you can use it, a ready-made thing that you don't have to do anything more. We can get that function by using a pivot table. So select the data, make a pivot of your respective table like this. Just quickly show you, add this to data model. And now just select the session in the rows and student in the values. Go to value field settings and make this as a count distinct. That's it. Right? But sometimes what happens is we don't have a chance to make a pivot. Like we might be working with a big complex Excel table and we might have to write a formula for it. Right? So in that case, like how do we do it? There is a ready-made function that you can find in Google, but let's first try to understand how this works. Let's focus on this one of the sessions initially. Let's say we have morning session. We have here two distinct students, A and B, who are taking the sales or purchases here. Right. So the way that I would do this is using a sum product function, right? Basically, sum product function works this way. There are any two arrays, right? So it just kinds of multiplies the first array with the second array, and it takes the sum of those things, right? So if I just write a sum product function, these two arrays will get 38. That's what it does, right? So now let's try to convert these numbers into some product, right? So if I take morning, for example, right now the data is sorted, but let's say if we wanted to standardize this, the first column would be the relevance column, and the second column would be the frequency column. Relevance in the sense if the line item that we're looking at is relevant to morning or not. If it is true, we provide 1, otherwise provide 0, right? Right now, if you look at the first three rows, it's for morning, right? So we'll just make the relevance as 1 for the first three rows. And coming to the frequency, we just try to count the number of times the student is being occurred in the given range, right? So for this, it will be 2, 1, and 2. Right? Now, instead of I doing the product as it's a frequency, what I do is I just divide this, right? So that's it. So within this session, you have two unique students. That's how I got it, right? So now what we need to do is we'll just have to replicate this using a formulae, right? The sum product formula that we have written here and the way that we have manually put the values here. So we are just trying to put that in a standard format. Yeah. So let me just do that. Sum product is a function that we used. Okay. And then the first one is, sorry, we are just trying to understand if this session is relevant to morning, right? So just trying to use this, okay? And with this, we are dividing by the frequency, right? So for the frequency, we are doing count ifs of criteria range 1. Again, select everything. I'll tell you why we are doing this. Then criteria range 2, and then criteria. Okay, control enter. Good. So just delete these things. All right. Let me just pull it down to the next cells also. And let me just test it. Yeah, it's working fine. If I put F here, that's 2. And if I put B here, okay, unique is 2. Okay. So the formula is working fine. Uh, so that's what we have done here. And if you wanted to interpret this at a deeper level, so let me just go to the whiteboard, right? So if you see here, right, this is our formula that we have written here. Uh, so we can split this into two parts. Okay, part one is to finding the relevance of range. This is basically a Boolean operator. And then the countif part, we are trying to find the frequency. Okay. So the kind of result that you get from the first one is we're just trying to select this entire range B5 to B13, and within which we are trying to find out the relevant session type, which is morning. Yeah. So the result would be something like this. There are 9 elements here, so it would be something like wherever there is a match, you will get true. So for true, I'm just representing it with 1 and false as 0. So there are 3 mornings, and the rest all are zeros. Like there will be 9 zeros, right? So the dimension of this will be, if you count it in terms of rows and columns, there are like 1 row and 9 columns, something like this. So it could be vertical also. Just trying to help you understand. Now coming to the frequency, so within the frequency, like we are doing it in a two-step method. First one is we are trying to find the frequency of our session intersection, the frequency of the student. Yeah. So just to give you a simple perspective, the way it creates this particular calculation is it kind of assumes a 2 by 2 matrix, right? So this will be the criteria range, and this will be the criteria, right? But in the formula, we have taken the same for everything, right? So criteria range, it will be morning, morning, mornings, afternoon, so on until night, right? The length of this will be 9. Criteria will also be the same thing, morning, morning, morning until night. Yeah. So now it tries to search, like if there is a match of both the x and y axes, it will be 1. Otherwise, it will be a 0. Yeah. Same thing goes with this way also, 1 1 1 0, right? So this way it will create two matrices. Let's say for the first one, for this one it is matrix A, which will be of 9 cross 9, and then it will be matrix B for the second criteria. It will also be 9 cross 9. Then it will just multiply this to get a resultant matrix, right? So just to refresh your memories, you must have done this in your engineering or something. So just to multiply two matrices A and B, let's say A consists of elements A, B, C, D, and B consists of elements I, J, K, L, right? So this is 2 cross 2, this is 2 cross 2, and if I just mention this as row 1, column 1, row 2, 1, column 2, right? So for any matrix multiplication to happen, so the columns in the first matrix should match with the rows in the second matrix. So basically we take this thing and we multiply it with first row, then again we take this thing and we do a sum product with the second row. Okay, that's how it happens. So the resultant would look something like this for us. This product is equal to AI plus BK, AJ plus BL, CI plus DK, CJ plus DL, right? So this is what is going to happen here. So we don't have to multiply it here in the worksheet, but I can just show you the results. Yeah. So I've just taken the same thing and created a simple matrix in Python just to show you the how the results would look like. So if you look at the session matrix where there is a morning versus morning matrix, this is, so wherever there is a match, it would come as one, the rest would come as zeros. Yeah. And the student matrix would look something like this for us. Like it just kinds of finds out where the students are matching. Yeah. And then in the countifs, it just multiplies the sessions with the students. So the result would look something like this for us, right? So if you, sorry, if you look at the result, right, this is how it would look like. And in the countifs, the result, the array would take only the diagonal. This is what it will eventually take as, because it's a exactly symmetric uh, for a given session. So it, if you take a session, right, so the first one is a morning session, this one is this session and all, so it would be symmetric for a given session. So let's go back to the Excel to understand how this is, if this is true or not. So I've just taken the independent arrays here, right? So if you look at the formula here, the first this frequency formula is for countifs. So I've just copy pasted this into the index function just to read the numbers, right? So if you look at the numbers here, 2 1 2 1 1 1 2 2 1 1, right? The same thing is being shown in the resultant matrix also. 2 1 2, sorry, resize it, yeah. Okay, the results are a little different here because we just played with the numbers. Let me just A B A C F D D A F. Okay, now it is same, right? This is exactly matching, so it's just picking the diagonal. And so once this is how the countif frequency is, and then we have uh, the first function here, the initial range function, then just considering the relevance of the session. So that's a Boolean operator again. I've just taken the range function here, and I'm just reading the array here first. So now what is, it's just doing the sum product. Like this is one array, this is true in the sense one, otherwise it's zero. So it's just dividing these two in this formulae, right, and getting us a output. So it would look something like this for us. So if I just plug in the values, right, if I just plug in the values for morning session, so the frequency matrix is something like this, 2 and 2, so on, something like this. And the relevance matrix is something like this for us, 1 1 1 0 0 0. So the sum product where we are dividing this and this and adding everything, so it would be something like 1 by 2 plus 1 plus 1 by 2, which is totally giving it as 2. So 2 is repeating here, it is the numerator, it gives us as relevance, and this is a frequency. So morning is repeated once and A is repeated twice. Similarly, morning is repeated once here, P is repeated only once here. This is for morning, and here A is repeated twice. So this way we are just trying to use the frequency within the sum product and try to get the distinct number of entries within a given group. I hope this formula evaluation is understood. If you think more clarity is required, please mention this in the comment section. Thank you for watching the video.